Hello.
Jay Greene,
What it do?
what's going on, man?
Good, dog. What's up with you?
Tell him, man, you on the Spartan Dawg Podcast, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, did
Glad to
did,
be a
did
part
did
of it.
did did you get a chance to listen to the first episode with Boo Bell?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Boo Bell, one of my favorite Spartans of all time.
Oh yeah, you learned anything?
I learned a lot. Learned a
Okay,
whole lot. And I thought I knew him pretty good.
yeah. All right, cool. So when I did his, I ain't really had no format, but the feedback's been good. So me and you probably talk about what 7 times a week. If I
Yeah,
don't, if I
about
don't,
that.
if I don't talk to Jay Greene, my wife be asking me what's wrong. So I'm gonna talk to you like we don't talk. So Jay, where you at, man? Where you at these days?
I'm in Lansing, Michigan, home of MSU.
Lansing, Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah. How long you been there? I mean, you stayed there after school or what?
No, I came back here 6 years ago, finished my degree, got a job, and wound up staying here.
Oh, okay. And then where you from, man? In case some of these people listening don't know.
Flint, Michigan, home of the cleanest water in the world.
Amen. And then what are you doing now? What type of work are you doing?
I work with at-risk youth. I work at a juvenile detention center, the Ingham County Detention Center, and also I do mentoring through community mental health. I take kids out and just try to show them different things and mentor them, and you know, try to show them the way. Pretty much,
Yeah, you enjoy it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Definitely love it.
All right. And then let's see. I mean, do you want to do more of that, or you just doing your job and that's it, or?
No, I've always liked working with kids. I just like kids, period, because to me, kids are always honest, but yet at the same time they innocent, and I just like having that kind of effect on them that'll last a lifetime. Pretty much, there's just something about when kids come back to me and tell me the effect that I done had on their life, especially the kids that I deal with, because I deal with these kids live life that I couldn't even imagine. Sex trafficking and being molested and parents not there and we was poor, but I didn't know we was poor until I got grown.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely love doing it.
All right. Now you still are involved, plugged into the Spartan program.
Right?
Yeah. You got a face pass over in Alan Haller's office, huh?
Definitely. Well, I think that's not just for me. That's for anybody. I'm just the one who's always around who goes over there. But I think Alan is definitely open to. I mean, I've taken you over there before. He don't act funny or none of that. He just, he likes seeing, especially players from our generation come back.
So when you hear people or see people online complaining that they can't get tickets or they can't talk to nobody, what do you think that's about?
That they ain't put forth no effort. Because, like I said, I know Alan. I talk to Alan all the time. And that's something that he embraces, trying to get guys back. He's always actually trying to think of ways, that would get guys to come back. That's pretty much what he's in the business of doing. And so if somebody is saying that they can't get tickets or they don't have nobody to talk to or whatever, I figure that they haven't put forth much effort.
Right. And then also, so you can parlay over there with Izzo too, huh? I done seen you sitting next to Lupe and everything else, man. How for people that don't know, if we go back to high school, you was a dual sport athlete, right?
Right.
You was All American in football and basketball, right?
True.
True.
Or as the kids say now, facts.
Facts. So what's your relationship with Izzo? I mean, why you still? How can you still just go to games and just be sitting there with the biggest of the alumni and all that stuff?
Well, I've been knowing him since high school because he recruited me in high school. Then he was just an assistant, trying to make his way. And it was crazy because I was out watching football practice one day. I hadn't been over to the basketball facility, and I just heard somebody yell out, and he was like, they just let anybody in practice, huh? So I looked up, and he was talking to Coach D. So I went over and talked to him, and you know, he he asked me if I had been in any games, and I told him no. So he told me to come by and see him. I went by and saw him. The rest is history. Now, I don't never overplay. People see me in pictures with different people and think that, we just the best of friends or whatever. I know these people, but I just get in where I fit in.
Right.
Take any opportunity I can.
So,
So, but yeah,
so on you, I mean, just sitting back, I've been knowing you. We used to be sweet mates and all that stuff or whatever. I used to go home with you. So, I guess if out of your couple of top attributes, would your networking be one of your biggest strengths, man?
I would say yeah, because I just look at myself as a people person. I feel like I get along with everybody because I don't have no expectations of people. My only expectation is that you be you. You
Right.
know, so I think that's kind of what make people feel comfortable around me enough to talk to me and engage. Is that they don't feel pressure to be something other than who they are. Because, I don't expect people to change. I know I ain't changing, and I think I'm an all right person.
So
So,
like if it's younger people listening, can you talk about the importance of, just not popping up and always asking for something and going by to visit
definitely,
people when you don't want nothing and just maintaining, those relationships and how important that is?
definitely. It's some everybody have a word for it. Some people call it politicking. Um, you know, but I don't just go around the program when I want tickets, or I don't just go see Alan when I want tickets. Anytime that I'm around the area on campus, I just go by, you know, say hi, what's going on, and I just personally don't like to be thought of as a person who likes to use people. Everybody had that person where when the phone rings and you see their name, you about know what they want, which is gonna be something. It's gonna cost you something, and I don't like being that person because I'm a person with a big heart myself, and it's genuine. So I know how that is, and I just I care about what people think about me. It's kind of, I guess it's like people brand themselves. That's how I brand myself. I care about what people think about me.
So you got relationships with the head coach, with the position coach, with the head trainer, with the equipment manager, with the
Yeah,
associate athletic director, with
yeah.
the hoop coach, with Dwayne Stevens, and
The
then
guy
you
who's the
and
head over the academics and his assistant.
right. And so
Yeah.
you just recently you reached out to a couple of young guys that just got on the team. What was that about, or what did you do?
Well, there was a guy that you put me in contact with. He was from California. So you just kind of told me his story, and you know, I remember how you were when you first got out here, and how lost you were. But to me, that's just part of being a Spartan. That's the part I like about it is that no matter who, what, where, you put in a call, and all you need to say is that they're a Spartan.
Right.
And
So you
we just
spoke to his dad, right?
yeah, I spoke to his dad, and his dad was just, as any parent would be concerned about his son coming way out here by himself for the first time leaving home. So I just offered a pretty much a safety net for him for, when he might want to, on holidays if he don't have nowhere to go. But and I guess the more I think about it is like here, it don't never seem to be a problem because you always got guys who, because we are a family, is you got guys who will take you home or offer to take you home and you build them friendships. So I don't know where it's gonna go, but I just want him to know that I'm here for him if he needs me.
All right. Now let's talk about your son, Dominique.
Okay.
Right. So when we was in
Right.
school, what year was it when you had Dominique?
I was in my third year, my redshirt sophomore year.
All right. And then how was that experience? I mean, we got a lot of stories for GP, but uh, you're a pretty quiet dude, man, and you don't really say too much. But at one point, I think you might have cussed out GP. He talk about that, man.
Yeah, I had to go home. Well, people who know me know how involved I am and have been with my son since day one. And he so I missed a Sunday meeting one day. So he called me in his office, and I didn't think it was no big deal because we wasn't playing. So I went home, and so he called me in his office, and he asked me why I missed the meeting, and I told him because I went home because my son was sick. So he proceeded to say, well, where was his mom? And I'm like, well, I don't always put all that on his mom. I do what I can do because that's just how I felt as a father. So he asked me, was my son retarded? And I took offense to that. I guess looking at it now, I don't think, knowing Coach Perlis, I don't think that he was meant it maliciously, but I was 20 years old, and my son was my everything. So, I had a few choice words for him, but as you know, and I've always told you the story. Like, I got the biggest respect for that man because he saved my life.
Right.
So,
and you went back 20 years later and apologized, or?
No, I always is two stories that I always tell him. I always remind him of that story and the story of him calling me the night before I had my knee surgery.
And how did that go?
So, like you said, I was an All-American in football. I pretty much had my choices of places to go. And my senior year, I wound up tearing my knee up. And the night before I went into surgery, Coach Perlis called me and told me that whether I could play again or not, I still had a scholarship at Michigan State because he liked me that much as a person. And that meant the world to me. I honestly already was probably going to Michigan State more so probably to play basketball, but that right there just, man, I'll never forget that.
All right. And then who you still keep in contact with, man, from Michigan State? You still talk to a bunch of people?
Besides you, sparingly, guy, I just had lunch with Neil Coleman the other day. Um, it just depends. I talk to guys here and there. Dwayne Hawkins is here in Lansing. Monty Brown is here in Lansing. Eric Williams is here in Lansing. So I, talk to those guys quite a bit. We still got Frank, D-Bot, Dale. They all still around here. I don't see them as much. But, man, I'd be glad to see anybody. It really don't even matter what era they're from. Just, they Spartans. I love talking to them. And like I said, that's the beautiful thing about being who we are is that no matter, that's all you have to say is that you a Spartan, and right then, it's on.
All right, now two more things. So now you also got your granddaddy, right?
Definitely a proud granddaddy.
Granddaddy, how many grandkids you got, man?
4.
4?
1 kid, 4 grandkids.
Yeah. You got boys and girls, or what?
3 boys and a girl.
3 boys and a girl. And if you ain't in Lansing, you in Flint, taking them to Chuck E. Cheese, huh?
Or wherever else they want to go. Definitely.
All right. And then last but not least, man, so for you, I mean, you from Flint, from the place where some of them guys that came up with the term Spartan Dawg. You think Boo Bell nailed it on the head with his description. You called me and said you had never heard it like that. But for you, then and now, when you hear the term Spartan Dawg, what does it mean to you, and what do you think about it?
Man, that's a lot of pressure because, like I told you, I had never heard anybody describe it the way that Myron did, and I don't think it'd be put. I would just say put a snippet of what he said on the end of my interview, and just roll with that. But seriously, I mean, it's just a family. Like, these guys are guys that I bled with, cried with, pretty much did everything with, fought with. We done been through some of everything, and because you've been there, through most of through that whole journey. That's how kind of we got tight because we was both injured at the same time, and everybody, pretty much left us to fend for ourselves. You know, to the point to where you was like, I ain't doing this no more, and threw your crutches down.
Right.
but that's what a Spartan dog is like, you know, pretty much anything that you can ask for. It don't matter what color you are, where you from, none of that. It's just that we got this common bond, and we just roll with it, and it's for life. That, I think that's the most important thing, is that it's for life. It don't, you know, once you leave school, no matter what generation you from, it just don't matter. All that matters is that you a Spartan.
All right, now I got two things real quick.
Okay.
So one thing is, I took this from you. You told me there's a reason why you wear something for Michigan State every day. Can you talk about that real quick?
Definitely, I think it's a conversation piece. You know, we from a lot of times that when we talk, you probably don't think I'll be listening, but I'll be hearing everything that you say. Well, not only with you, but with anybody. But you know, I hear you talk about, you know, because of the business that you in, branding and marketing, and that's just what I think it is. I done been places. I remember one time I came to Atlanta, and I had on some Michigan State gear, and the guy screamed out "Go Green," and I thought he was calling my name because my last name is Green, but he actually was saying "Go Green," and I've had a lot of experiences like that where people see I got on Spartan gear, and it just, you know, sparks up a conversation, and you just never know who you might run into.
All right, and then the last thing, man, can you give me a excerpt on B. Howard?
B. Howard, man, you said something there. That's one. I mean, of course, with all families and relationships, you got some that's real special to you, and that's one that B. Howard is one of the ones who I actually kept in touch with. You know, after we got done playing, he had kids when he was young. So when he had his son, he was living in Lansing, and I would always bring him, you know, clothes that my son couldn't wear anymore to him and his wife, who was up here with him. And even when he moved back to Chicago, all the way up until, you know, I think I talked to him maybe 2 or 3 days before I found out he was dead. But B. Howard is just another guy who, to me, embodies uh, being a Spartan dog, because, you know, he was always famous for chicken. That was his thing. You know, whenever I see chicken wings and people do what we call freaking black and miles, that's what I think of B. Howard, because that's him. That's him. Hey, I really miss that dude. Really,
That's the original number one, huh?
the original number
Well,
one.
behind Dre and them, but yeah, B. Howard used to
But
rock that number one.
but
You and
but Drake,
last thing, do you got a story of Coach Baggett invitation talking to B. Howard, man?
man, I don't know. Coach Baggett might hear this. You know what the funny thing about B. Howard was that B. Howard knew B. Howard was a talented dude. He just didn't necessarily always know the plays. But when it came to talent on the field, B. Howard was second to none, and he knew that. But he just could never put it together. The one funny story I will tell you is that we was running the sprint test, and I ain't never in my life heard this excuse. I done heard a lot of excuses of being tired, but B. Howard walked up to Jeff Monroe and said, "Jeff, I'm breathing too good." I ain't never in my life heard somebody say that they was breathing too good.
Something was wrong, huh?
Man, that was an all timer right there. That was definitely an all timer.
All right, and last but not least, Jay is responsible for getting me kicked out of the Duffy by George Perlis. We're going to leave it at that. Jay got me officially kicked out, banned from the Duffy Doherty.
Nah, that wasn't me. They always try to put everything on me. I'm the nice guy.
All right, so it's Jay Greene, Spartan Dawg Podcast. We'll holla.
All right, dog.
All right, Jada.